Hey, what's up? It's Samori.
This is for those who hunger for more, so much more, so much more. Reg in, get all the refugees in sync, inspired.
Hey, what's up? It's Samori. Welcome to my podcast, where I talk about creative entrepreneurship. These are entrepreneurs who are starting businesses in the creative arts. So we're talking about everything from recording studios to video production companies to dance studios and bookstores. You know, there's some fundamental concepts when it comes to business in general. I personally have spent the last 27 years in the music industry. I am the owner of Little Drummer Boy Recordings based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So creative entrepreneurship is near and dear to my heart. And I've learned so many lessons in almost 3 decades of running my business that I wanted to dedicate my podcast to motivating, to teaching, to sharing, and to helping my listeners and my viewers get the mentorship and the coaching that they need to really launch their businesses and take them to another level. In today's episode, I'm at the beautiful Salt Mine Recording Studios in Mesa, Arizona. This is a beautiful facility, and I'm on the road today because I am so intrigued with other business owners, with other studio owners, finding out what they're doing, finding out how they became successful building their brands. So I'm in their B room here with this beautiful SSL board behind me, and I can't think of a better backdrop for today's episode. Today, we're going to discuss business foundations. You know, there are some common threads when it comes to developing, launching, and sustaining a business. Now, whether you're in the music industry or you're in the video and film industry, whether you have a dance studio, 9 times out of 10, you are providing a service. And I believe that service-based businesses have a competitive advantage in the near term as well as in the future. There are so many consumers out there that are looking for studio time, or they're looking for music production, or maybe they need their music video shot, or they need photography, or they're looking for a studio to work on dance, or whatever it may be. Providing services in creative industries that are in high demand are a phenomenal way to support your family, build intergenerational wealth, and build brands that have longevity. But let's start with the fundamentals. You know, back in the 1970s, Gary Dahl decided that he was going to create the pet rock. Seriously, he was on vacation in Mexico, walking along a beach, and saw a rock that was just shaped in a flawless and almost near perfect way. And this entrepreneur decided that, you know what, this would be an interesting product to sell. So what this individual did is he ended up collecting and I believe ultimately purchasing tons of these rocks. And he ended up packaging them in a box that made them look like pets. I mean, they had an entire story behind them, and it really appealed to folks who were interested in having pets, but maybe they didn't want to have your traditional dog or cat or bird or pets that most people tend to have. Most of us would walk past a rock and just keep moving. But Gary Dahl decided that he was going to build a business out of this rock. So like I said, he packaged these things up really nicely. He put them in a carton so they had their own home. He had a story behind them. He had a whole instruction book on how to take care of them. And he just made a thing out of them. And you know what he did to really put that pet rock on steroids? Is he paid for advertising in magazines. That's right. He put money into marketing and advertising to make people aware of this pet rock that he was selling. And lo and behold, he became a multi-millionaire off of a rock. Well, that story has always resonated with me. For one, I remember the pet rock. I was born in the 70s, so I remember this phenomena like it was yesterday. But number two, when I became an entrepreneur and started thinking back to this pet rock, I wanted to find out more about how he even got this idea off the ground. And it helped me to see business in a more simplified way. Because being a business owner, particularly if you don't have any coaches or mentors, it can seem overwhelming. It can seem confusing at times. You know, if you have a little seed capital or you have a little, money in the bank, it can seem, awesome and well and good. But if that money is tight, or if you don't have any money to put into your business and you're struggling, it can be almost like a worst nightmare. And we tend to overthink this thing called business, especially as creatives, because we're great at that thing that we do. We are great at what we're passionate about. Me personally, I love making music. I love recording music. And I love teaching people how to record, how to produce, and how to start their own music-based businesses. I love that, right? And as creatives, we're usually pretty good at what we love, but we're not always as good at launching and running our businesses. So when I look back at this pet rock, it helped me to really simplify the business process. For one, this individual knew what his product was. It was a rock, right? Now, as service-based brands, we pretty much know the service we want to provide, right? We want to charge for studio time, or we want to sell our beats. Or maybe we want to shoot music videos or offer photography services, or maybe we want to rent out our event space or rent out our dance hall, or whatever the case is. We know the service that we want to provide. But think about the pet rock for a minute. This guy took it a step further. Not only did he know what the product was, he decided he was going to package it in a way that made it really intriguing to consumers. He put it in a box. It had a name on it. He put some nice little grass in the box, and it had a story. The pet rock had a story. And story is one of the most important things that you can do as a creative entrepreneur, is to get your story together. So you know what service you want to offer. What's your story? Tell your story, because it's the story that's going to resonate with folks, right? So the guy with the pet rock, he had the package, he had the story, right? He even had instructions for how to take care of the rock. As a creative entrepreneur yourself with a service, you have a story, whether you've committed that story to paper or not, which is your homework after this podcast. Sit down and really develop and write that story. But then again, he provided instructions. So I liken that to your ability to offer value to your customer. If someone is coming to your recording studio, or you're interested in making people aware of your recording studio, how about giving them instructions as to how to prepare for their next recording session? Or maybe some instructions on songwriting, or instructions on how to find the best beat for their song. If you are a videographer or a filmmaker or a photographer, how about giving folks instructions on how to create a storyline for a music video? How about instructions for how to dress for that photo shoot, how to put colors together so that the photos come out phenomenal. If you have a dance studio, how about offering instructions on the basics of dance? These are just examples. And there are a number of ways that you can offer instructions or offer value to the prospects, to the potential consumers who are going to spend their hard-earned dollars for your services. So let's keep going. We know the service we're going to sell. We know what our story is. We can offer value to our potential consumers. You know, how can we deliver that value? Well, we can deliver it on social media. How will you deliver that value? Well, you can deliver it on your social media channels through social media posts, which is super important. You can deliver that value through your website. You can deliver that value by just offering free guides or free reports that your prospects or your potential consumers can get by giving you their email, their phone number, their name. These are ways that now you can start building that brand up, attracting consumers to what it is you offer. Now, back to the pet rock. All right. He knew what he was going to sell. He packaged it well. He had a story. He, gave instructions or valuable information, and then he advertised. Now, here is where we, as creative entrepreneurs, often miss the boat. It's advertising. It's marketing. I personally have taught hundreds of audio engineering, music production, and music business students out of my recording studio in Philadelphia. Hundreds. And many thousands online. And one of the things that dawned on me is, even though my customers were improving their skills as music producers, and they were opening their own recording studios, and they were mixing and mastering music like never before, and they were mixing and mastering their own music to a very high standard. And I had students who have been nominated for Grammy Awards and who have worked with some of the biggest names in the music industry. But at the end of the day, they still didn't know how to build their brand, how to market. And that's when I knew that marketing and advertising were the missing pieces to the puzzle. Even after I've been in the music industry for almost 3 decades, for the majority of that time, my marketing was severely lacking. Because as creative entrepreneurs, we are daily just in the grind. We're working in our business. If we're charging by the hour, then we're in there getting it done, right? We are doing the thing. We are working in our business. But you know what? Because we're working in our businesses, we're not working on our businesses. And that's the difference between being a creative entrepreneur and being a creative who essentially owns your own job. Think about that. An entrepreneur works on their business. And that little bit of a mindset shift can change things. And I know why we spend a lot of time spinning our wheels and toiling. I know what it's all about, because the revenue oftentimes just isn't there. A lot of times we're just staying afloat. I know I was. I know for years I was just staying afloat. And I knew I had customers coming in the door, and I had great relationships with my customers and my clients. And the studio was just growing in terms of the word getting out there and just working with a lot of people. But it just meant I was just even more busy than ever before. And that, my friend, led to a lot of burnout, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of ebbs and flows. I know you can relate. I know very well that you can relate, because we're kindred spirits. This I know. So how do we turn those ebbs and flows into a consistent ascension? The key is Like Gary Dahl, who invented the pet rock, the key is marketing and advertising. So this guy, what he ended up doing was advertising in all different types of magazines, craft magazines and novelty magazines and magazines that he felt his potential consumers were reading. And he ended up becoming a millionaire. And so what you are going to have to do is start to advertise your service. And there are so many ways to do that. There are so many ways to advertise. The quickest way to really start to grow your business is to pay for advertising. And the best way to do that is using Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, and TikTok advertising. And you don't have to do them all. You can focus on one. There are entrepreneurs who build millions of dollars of wealth just advertising on Facebook. There are entrepreneurs who do the same thing, just advertising on YouTube or Google. So you don't have to feel overwhelmed and feel like you have to advertise everywhere. But you do have to advertise. And that will be the quickest way to start to generate revenue and build leads for your creative-based business. Now, there's a lot of information out there on how to go about advertising. It's probably a lot more than we can cover in this particular episode. But if you're interested in learning more, you can go to my website, samoricoles.com, and I delve a little bit further and give you some information, some valuable information on how you can get started in advertising. Because, with effective advertising, for every dollar you spend, you can make $2 or $3 or more. My experience with advertising recently is that for every dollar that I've spent, I've made as much as $20 in revenue. Think about it. Advertising matters. Now, if you're going to advertise, you have to realize it's going to cost a couple of dollars. So what if there is a situation where you don't have a lot of money to spend? Well, in that case, I would say, it doesn't take a lot of money to advertise. You can advertise for $5 a day, right? But the more you're able to invest in advertising, and if you do it effectively, the more revenue you're able to bring in. Another way to market your brand is just by organic social media posting. And that's going to start by being really focused about what it is you're posting. You have to think about, that service you're offering. You have to think about who your target audience is. So who's going to be most interested in your services and what their problems are that you can solve. What are those pain points? For example, let's go back to the recording studios. So in a lot of cities, it's hard to find recording studios that actually care about your music, right? It's really difficult. Or sometimes it's even hard to find recording studios that will answer their phones. These are what I would call potential pain points for a consumer. So you might have someone who wants to make music, but they're like, man, I've gone to recording studios and they don't care. Well, if you can address that pain point by saying, hey, at my studio, we care about your music, well, then you can start to attract those type of consumers. Or call our studio today. We're going to answer the phone. We're attentive to your needs, right? Or you might be in video production. And those consumers may have worked with other videographers who have worked on their music videos, and the video sucked, or the quality wasn't good, or it took forever to get the finished product. Well, those are pain points. So your hook might be, listen, our quality is second to none. Book your next music video shoot with us, and we're going to turn around that video in 3 days, and it's going to be a super professional quality video. And then you back that up with samples of your work. So if you're approaching social media and you're approaching your post and you're addressing the pain points of those consumers who are most likely to be interested in what you're offering, that message is going to resonate. And that's going to lead to interest in what it is that you're offering. And then if in your bio you have a link to a landing page or a web page where people can give you their email and their phone number and their name, now you start to build leads of prospects. leads of potential consumers who are going to do business with you. So that's just the organic side, organic social media posting. Another great way to market and promote your brand is to start a podcast. Start a podcast where maybe some episodes you're talking to your prospect, and maybe in other episodes, or you're interviewing folks who are similar to your prospects. So if you are a recording studio, again, I'm using that example because I know that industry very well. Maybe you're interviewing musical artists and you're talking about their music and their process and what they have coming up. And throughout that podcast, you are talking about your services as well. You're talking about what you do. And so over time, as you interview more and more of these musicians and musical artists, some of them, just through that conversation, are going to be interested in your services. But the bonus here, the icing on the cake, is that as your podcast starts to grow, other prospects who are listening to your podcast are going to be intrigued and interested because they're hearing you talk to all of these musical artists. They're hearing you talk to all of these musicians. They're hearing you talk about your services. And what's going to happen? As long as you have a link or a way for them to connect with you, preferably through a landing page or a website, now you're going to be building up leads through this podcast. And that's another organic way to market. So maybe you don't have a huge budget right now. Well, use organic social media posting, start a podcast, and always be focused on your potential client, on what their pain points are, what they struggle with, what their needs are. And then you're always addressing those pain points and showing them that you are the solution. You are the one that is going to help them get from where they are now to where they want to go. And that's the key. And then if you really want to put that marketing and advertising on steroids, then you pay for ads. So the Pet Rock helped me to really simplify business. I'm a creative. I think creatively. I want to do the thing. I want to make music. I want to record people. I love to train people and to teach them how to become better audio engineers and better music producers and to launch successful music-based brands. That's what I love to do. But I also had to take things a step further and realize that in order to be able to do that and still be able to support my family, and still be able to accomplish my goal of generational wealth, I had to really look at business and break it down in a really simple way. And the Pet Rock helped me to do that because I know what my service is, just like Gary Dahl knew what his product was. I know what my story is, and I have to tell my story, just like our friend Pet Rock Guy. I had to provide value through instructions and information, right? Just like the instructions that the Pet Rock inventor added with his product. I have to market my service. So many businesses, they make millions of dollars because they market and they advertise very effectively. They know who their audience is and they speak to that audience. They speak to the pain points of that audience. They provide solutions to the pains and the struggles of their audience. And when I say pain, I don't mean physical pain, but sometimes it might be emotional pain or whatever it is that is keeping your prospect from getting from where they are now to where they want to go. You have to be that solution. And then after you market and advertise, there has to be a way for your consumers to engage with you and to pay you for your services. I prefer to use a website for this. At my studio, in order for folks to book sessions with us, they have to pay and prepay online through our website. So websites are a great way to receive payment for your services. Other folks use Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal. But the easier that you make it for folks to pay you for your services and to book you for your services, the less friction there is from a person going from prospect to consumer. Business does not have to be overwhelming. It does not have to be challenging and difficult. It does not have to make you lose sleep at night. And it does not have to be cycles of ebbs and flows and burnout and then motivation. It doesn't have to be that. It takes a system. And when you simplify that system, entrepreneurship becomes a fun game to play. I hope I've been able to give you some insight, some motivation, and some guidance so that you can take your idea or maybe your business you've been working on for a long time, you can start to see progress. And hopefully I've just relit or rekindled that fire because I know you love to do that thing, right? I know you love to make music or shoot videos or dance, or you love to sell books, or you're a creative entrepreneur and you love the creative part. Hopefully today we've added some of the fundamentals of business just to help you to get just a little bit further along. If you want even more insight, feel free to go to my website, samoricoles.com, where I have even more information and some products and some training, and some is free, some is premium, to help you get from where you are today to where you want to go. I want to thank our sponsors, Fire.ai, which is an all-in-one marketing and business operations tool specifically for creatives. It offers a CRM, which is an important tool for entrepreneurs, a customer relationship manager, where as you're getting those prospects and you're getting those leads, they're all coming into a database. So you have their names, their phone numbers, you have their email addresses. And so you're able to send out mass text messages or mass emails when you have events, when you have different offerings, when you have sales, all those things. It's just a great way to keep all of those prospects and all of those customers in one place. Fire.ai also offers a universal communications tool where all of your social media platforms now all come to one place in one useful app, where when you're getting messages on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever your messages are coming from, you can see them all in one place. So you don't have to go to a million different apps. Even your text messages, even your emails, they're all coming into one place, and it becomes very easy to respond to folks. And really the icing on the cake with Fire.ai is all of the automation so that your business is on steroids. Oftentimes as business owners, we wish we had a team. We wish we had those extra hands, that extra assistance. Well, with automation, you're able to run your business with a very lean team, because a lot of the processes in terms of responding to texts, responding to emails, is all done automatically. Marketing automation. So if someone fills out a form, now they're getting correspondence from you daily or weekly, however you want to set that up. Not to mention AI. Fire.ai has a very powerful AI integration where, for example, if someone calls you and you miss that call, that person will immediately get a text from your AI assistant who is trained on your business, and that AI assistant can still book the session for you or book the appointment for you. It's a powerful tool. So I definitely recommend that you check out Fire.ai because it can really help to get your business to another level. Also want to thank Little Drummer Boy Recordings, a full-service recording studio based in Philadelphia that also offers training in audio engineering, music production, and the music business. Who Visualized You, a full-service videography and photography company that we have partnered with to offer world-class content production services. But Who Visualize You is so much more than that. They offer professional music videos and photography and all of that media that you need to make sure that you are packaged the right way. They'll all be asking, who visualized you? Once again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen or to watch. Today, I'm at Salt Mine Studios, a beautiful studio facility in Mesa, Arizona. This is Samori, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace.